Sunday is all day sitting and Buddha's birthday celebration. Buddha's birthday is celebrated about this time of year all over the world. So it's kind of a grand coming together. We hope you come. It's an open sky. And if you come, can you bring yourself, but if you can, bring flowers, lots of flowers. And it would be nice if one or two people volunteered to bake cookies. Could have a little Buddha's birthday cookie. Tonight is precepts. We do the full cycle of the 16 Bodhisattva precepts, one a month, so it takes a while. Tonight's the 10th of the 10 clear mind precepts, so it's the grand finale. And usually then we take a break, but I thought, I don't think this is the time to take a break from precepts. This is, I think precepts are the foundation of, we could all just remember the precepts, it would be a different world. So we'll start again next month, and we'll take a little break in the summer, but we'll just keep going. And I want to say a little bit more about it when I give a more formal talk, but I went last Thursday to the Interfaith Leaders Coalition about sanctuary. It was so sweet to be in a room with ministers and the rabbi from Ner Shalom where we used to sit, and I just really appreciated it a lot. And there is, because some of the churches this church is expressing its alignment with the sanctuary movement. Some churches are actually saying they're sanctuaries. They're opening their doors to be sanctuary. And there is a rally and a press conference on Wednesday, the 16th. The Sonoma County Sanctuary Coalition in celebrating local faith leaders declaring their congregations as sanctuaries. So I really hope I'm going to be doing part of the ritual. They said, who wants to do ritual? And I'm such a good Buddhist. I didn't even know my hand just shot up. We'll see what happens. But every congregation was saying, oh, but because they really want people to be there for this, and each congregation was saying, oh, I bet I could get 20 people and 25 people. And I said, I'll send it out to all the Buddhist sanghas around the county, and we'll just see. Because we Buddhists like to sit on our cushions. Excuse me. But if any of you would like to show up, I think it would be really lovely. And if you do show up, wear your rakusus. That would be sweet if you have one. Okay.
And when and where?
It's a Courthouse Square in Santa Rosa on April 16th from 5 to 6 p.m. Oh, go and then go out to dinner or something. It should be nice. So that I could go last Thursday morning, Marianne gave a talk in Sangha. Maybe some of you heard it, but you can also listen to it online. It's because Marianne really has an interfaith practice. She's a child of a minister, and I love it when she can bridge the languages. It's like you say this Buddhist thing, and then like the scripture comes up for her, or she hears a scripture, and she talks about that. And somehow because we are looking at the Eightfold Path, but also the two wings of wisdom and compassion, somehow the image of the wings feels really interfaith to me. Angels have wings, in case you hadn't noticed. I don't understand Catholicism well enough, but there's a little heart with little wings, and my guess is that it's also there in other traditions too. So that was part of why I wanted her to talk about interfaith, and I wanted to enter that way because it feels so important. You know, we all have our ideas and we all have our teachings, and we all are comfortable where we're comfortable. But to be able to bridge language and to see each other in our true isness of, I was going to say people of God or people of Buddha or people of Islam or whatever the language. I really deeply more than believe that if you take any tradition and you go deep enough, it's the same thing. Just sometimes it gets caught up along the way. So I wanted to just share because Brother David Steindl Rost, who maybe some of you know, I know Brother David. He here's a little story maybe I've told before. As we were living at Green Gulch, and Evan, my son, was born there, and Bruce, my husband's mother, was born in Italy. She's very Catholic, and it was really distressing to her that her grandson was not going to be confirmed. Brother David was there. That was not gonna, it was like Brother David to the rescue. He couldn't because he wasn't a brother. He couldn't do the baptism, so he got on the phone and he called in somebody who did it, and Richard Baker, who was the Roshi at the time, and this Catholic it must have been anyway, he was somebody who could do it. We did this baptism in the Green Gulch Zendo, and the baptismal font was, we went out and we bought thing from the nursery, you know, like a big thing. We filled it up with water and we dipped Evan in, and I said that, and we said that, and we had godparents, and Von Rand is Evan's godmother, and Vanya Palmer is his godfather, and then we kind of, Brother David was orchestrating the whole thing. We kind of marched Evan around the Zendo, and I remember looking up, because back then this was like, now it's a little more. I remember looking up at some of the Zen Center people, and it was we were opening fresh territory. Brother David's an amazing person. So I wanted to, so I Googled him, which is, you know, what I do is the Zen Center used to send out something called the Wind Bell. It was a little book, and you'd get it every month in the mail, and it had teachings in it. And this is from the 1968 Wind Bell. Several Christian clergy have been to Zen Mountain Center. And then he mentions a few, and their guide was Brother David, a Viennese psychologist who came to the United States in the late 40s, became a Benedictine monk, and now does Zazen, oh my goodness, at the Zen Study Society with his abbot's permission. There was, when I was living at Green Gulch and Zen Center, there were a lot of Catholics in that period of time, nuns and monks coming, because as I understood it, their tradition had lost their contemplative grounding, and they were coming back to find it, and then just took it home because, of course, it was already there. It was a way to remember it. This July, Brother David was head dishwasher at Tassajara. I'm really sorry Kristen's not here. Well, but others of you have also been in the dish room, that very dish room. And before he left, he entirely revised the washing ritual and retrained the students. Later, from his home monastery in Western New York, Mount Savior, he sent the work foreman his suggestions for future dishwashers. This is mindfulness. You know, we're all in the same tradition. It's just different entry gates. They ranged from, quote, a little vinegar in the rinse water makes the glasses sparkle, and, quote, the cats do appreciate milk left in the glasses from the guest table, to, we should listen to the sound of the water and the scrubbing, to the various sounds the dishes make when they hit each other. The sounds of our work tell us as much about our practice. Tell us much about our practice. Most people dislike dishwashing. Maybe they can learn to appreciate the touch of the wooden bowls, the pots and the mugs and everything they handle, the weight of what we lift up and set down, the various smells and sounds. Saint Benedict, the patriarch of Western monks, says that in a monastery, every pot and pan should be treated with the same reverence as the sacred vessels on the altar. Anybody think who's read Tenzo Kyokan? Or that's complete, that's Dogen. I mean, that's Dogen and that's Saint Benedict. And it's so full of compassion and wisdom, the embodiment of the two wings. So then I thought, the Eightfold Path. And how is it that we move from dislike? Most people dislike washing dishes to reverence for each dish and each thing, the sounds and the touch. And so I wanted to, the Four Noble Truths, we did that I think it was last Tuesday. I want to link the Four Noble Truths to the Bodhisattva vows, because they're completely, the Four Noble Truths, of course, is early Buddhist teaching that goes all the way through. And the Mahayana Bodhisattva vows arose later, but they're the same. I wrote down here, the path of the Bodhisattva is no place to stand, no views, possessions, no solid self, no self-clinging, no unchanging identity, no security. Every Dharma thing is absolutely all-inclusive. All practices are included in one practice, just wash the dishes. Every Dharma includes the whole of space and time. When I read out loud to you about Brother David and the clinking of the dishes in the dish room, if any of you have been in there, I could hear it. And when I heard it, I also heard the sound of the creek simultaneously. It's like, that's what happens at Tassajara, is there's no beginning and there's no end. And you just know that you take care of one thing. And then of course the Blue Jays are, and I mean, it's all, but it's true all the time. It's just most of the time we're too distracted, which is really the root of wisdom, which is everything is empty and full and interrelated. And the more we know that, then you want to take care of the creek and the dishes and the sounds and the dishwasher next to you. And so we start with the Four Noble Truths. There is suffering, or there is suffering in this human life. The description of, I like these descriptions of samsara, which means wandering around in circles. You ever feel that way? When I call that up, I can sort of like almost go into some kind of like body mudra or heart, it's just like, you just kind of want, it's like, where am I? Who am I? What's going on? You just keep bumping into the same old stuff, and oh my goodness. And there's a prevailing sense in the sufferingness. I mean, the suffering is that something just feels fundamentally unsatisfactory. If I could just get this, then everything would be okay. So here I want to read to you, because I'm using these two books, The Eightfold Path by Zen women teachers, and the Noble Eightfold Path by Bhikkhu Bodhi. I'm reading from the introduction a lot today, as I did last Tuesday, but there's so much good stuff in here. The mind of complaint. Not me. A farmer came to the Buddha and laid out all his problems. The farmer hoped the Buddha, as a wise person, would help him resolve some of his problems. The Buddha said, "I can't help you." The astonished man said, "What do you mean?" And the Buddha said, "Everyone has problems. In fact, everyone has got all 83 problems." That's just a way to say whatever you can think of, we all got it. And there's nothing you can do about it. If you fix one problem, another will pop up. There's nothing you or I or anyone else can do about it. And the man was furious. "I thought you were a great teacher," he shouted. "I thought you would help me. What good is your teaching then?" And the Buddha said, "Well, maybe it will help you with the 84th problem." "What's the 84th problem?" The Buddha said, "You don't want to have any problems." Which is one of the best quotes of Suzuki Roshi, which there are many, is saying the problems that you have now you'll always have the same problem. Is that we all want them just to go away. So there's this fundamental feeling, which is called fundamental ignorance, and the Tankas, not in that one, they're often dancing on a suffering human being. The awakening is coming out of it, because the ignorance is that we think we're solid, we think we're separate, we think we're going to be able to get it, and we don't understand there's something really fundamental here that is, it's called greed, hatred, or aversion, and delusion. But if we can sit down in the middle of it, there's always going to be problems, something in our little ticking brain. But there's also there's the sound of the creek and the touch of the wooden bowl and of everything resounding in and out of everything else. So the first bodhisattva vow is, "I vow to save all beings. I vow to save and be saved." Thich Nhat Hanh says, "The pain becomes not my pain, but the pain," and our heart opens. He says, "Because there is suffering in your heart, it is possible for you to enter the Buddha's heart. Your suffering and my suffering are the basic conditions for us to enter the Buddha's heart and for the Buddha to enter our hearts." Saving and being saved. And somehow when I read that, I sort of had little wings on my heart. There's a lightness in this, instead of like, oh God, it's just suffering. So there is suffering, and there's the second one is the cause of suffering. Likes and dislikes. I don't like doing the dishes. I don't like it in the dish room. Not surprisingly, the second bodhisattva vow is, delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them, to abandon what needs to be let go of. Here's a really good description of the 8 worldly winds: pleasure and pain, gain and loss, success and failure, praise and blame. I'll bet none of you know anything about any of those things. It just comes with being a human being and believing the world as we perceive it through our 2 eyes. How can we welcome either side as Buddha itself, as the energy of the moment itself? This is the essential practice of non-reactivity. Ooh, study your reactivity. How do we stay centered in the face of the predictability of the 8 worldly winds? Here is an equanimity phrase that helps me, this is Judith Regier, practice with these vicissitudes in life. May I be at peace with the ups and downs of life. Pretty simple. May I be at peace with the ups and downs of life. Oh, here's another one. It's a wonderful, I've taught it at Everyday Zen. Maybe we'll do it someday here. Sagan's poem, Trust in Mind. It's a really famous part of his poem. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. When love and hate are both absent, everything becomes clear and undistinguished. It's impossible in my personality to not have preferences. But I also know the ground, and I think we all know the ground, where it's just everything arising and passing, and it sounds and smells and tastes and touch, and it's love, but it's beyond love, and there's no aversion in it because it's just kind of the wonder and mystery of alive. So once we realize that when we are in the seven worldly winds, or in self-clinging, or hanging on to our preferences like mad, which of course only happens once or twice a day. I'm trying to normalize this. That was funny. That was supposed to be funny. Then we more and more realize, the more we notice that we can wake up, that there is spaciousness, that there is another heart and body and mind, that again, Brother David was talking about, and it becomes the third bodhisattva vow is Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them and be entered by them, which is life is. I vow to let life touch me close and to enter and be entered. There's this presence and isness of life. Is the way to wake up, to know the two wings of compassion, to be a bodhisattva in this life for ourselves and for all beings. So here's a little thing from Katagiri Roshi that I really liked. There is no other place for enlightenment to happen than right now. Hoping for the fruition of our efforts in the future is not based on what is real. The future is an illusion. Our hope is a fantasy. With that in mind, ideas of gradual and sudden enlightenment seem kind of ridiculous, and in the deepest sense, cause and effect rise together all in the present moment. So we perceive the world through cause and effect. There's this and then that, and then that, and then this, and that, and but the teaching is, and it's a fascinating koan, is that cause and effect are arising simultaneously. There's no gap. It's just the whole world is appearing and disappearing simultaneously at the same time. But you can feel that. It's like, I think that's why when you go to Tassajara and you're sitting by the stream, the sound of the water and everything moving, you just realize everything is moving and alive and ungraspable and wondrous. So here Katagiri says, Zen is a practice of action. Sometimes people think that Zen practice is a bridge between suffering and happiness. We practice first and then we will be happy. But practice and happiness are not separate. Practice is not a bridge. Practice itself is joy. Practicing egolessness doesn't mean that you destroy yourself and then something changes in the future. It means that egolessness comes up simultaneously with the activity of practice itself. Dogen says it's practice enlightenment. It's a verb. To practice is enlightenment. Enlightenment is practice. The practice of subject and object merged into the present activity encourages us to let go of our interpretations Grief becomes grief, loss becomes loss, and we have the comfort of holding them with universal perspective. This refined activity very naturally leads you to forget yourself. You're entering and being entered, which is just alive. So that all sounds well and good. And I'll bet everything I just said, we've all had momentary awarenesses of. I mean, when you sit, you just do. Body and mind drop away, and it's like, oh. But what is it to actualize it and to embody it, which is the fourth noble truth, which is the Bodhisattva vow, is Buddha's way is unsurpassable. I vow to become it. It's not that Buddha's way is more surpassable than Jesus's way or somebody else's way. It just means that there is a path of awakening that's beyond this and that. And the Eightfold Path is the path. The Buddha set out really early on. And was I going to read you something? Let's see here. Nope, maybe later. Sorry. Okay. So when we get to the Eightfold Path, there's three bases. Now we're finally into the Eightfold Path. Sorry. Thank you for being very patient. There's three bases. First one is, I'll remind you that when it says right view, right intention, the root word means to unite. So right means it's no longer separate. It's really the Sandokai. This is all the Sandokai. It's the same thing. It's just woven in and out of each other. So there's wisdom, prajna, which is articulated through right view and right intention. It's the entry point of the path, but it's also what arises the more you practice, is you more and more have the eyes and ears and heart and mind of a bodhisattva and a Buddha, and you more and more just want to wake up with and for everybody and to be able to help people save and be saved. Second one is ethics or precepts. It's like a three-legged stool. You need all three of them. So actions of body, speech, and mind really matter. So we train to hold ourselves in this deep place so that more and more we notice when we do something harmful. And we try to make amends, and we actions of body, speech, and mind matter. We train ourselves, and we forgive ourselves, and we fall down and we get up. And the third one is right concentration, which is right mindfulness, which is right effort, and right concentration, which is meditation. So training our mind, our view, cultivating deep intention, paying attention to actions of body, speech, and mind, both on the cushion and off the cushion. And there's two right view, is mundane right view. You still with me? So mundane right view is in the beginning. Dogen said, because he was all into enlightenment and stuff, he said, cause and effect doesn't matter. Get over cause and effect. Just sit, just wake up doing zazen. This is what I think he said. And then lo and behold, people started getting in trouble. Monks got in trouble. It's happened in my lifetime as a Buddhist in a monastery too. And suddenly everybody went, cause and effect matter, precepts matter. So the mundane right view is, I'm just going to read you one thing from Bhikkhu Bodhi here, so you know he's in the room with us too. It involves a correct grasp of the law of karma, which means action, the moral efficacy of action. Its literal name is right view of the ownership of action. It means take responsibility for your actions of body, speech, and mind. I think this is the Buddha. Beings are the owners of their actions, the heirs of their actions. They spring from their actions, are bound to their actions, are supported by their actions. Whatever deeds they do, good or bad, of those they shall be heirs. Pay attention. Take responsibility, moment after moment. And the other kind of right view, the balance of it, is it's called superior right view. Doesn't mean it's better or worse. It means it's vast and all inclusive. The teaching being that in the stool leg of concentration and mindfulness and meditation is there's a complete shift in perception. And you both can track and take responsibility and cause and effect, but you also have a much bigger, deeper view of that everything is alive and moving in and out of everything else, and how to act in accord with it. In fact, let me just see if, because oh, this is okay. This is what I wanted to find. This is one of my most favorite. A monk asked Yunmen, what is the teaching of the Buddha's entire lifetime? You want to know? You want to know? Yunmen answered, an appropriate response. It's the only way you can know an appropriate response, which is living the Bodhisattva vow, is to be present in the moment. If you try to figure it out from something that happened before or something that you know, you're just always going to be a step behind, or there's going to be a gap. It's this intuitive, deep Zazen body, which is, another translation of it is dancing in tune with the times. Dancing in tune with the times. What is it to dance in tune with the times? Okay. I'll give you two more quotes and then I'm going to send you off to express your enlightened self. Here's Bhikkhu Bodhi. Right view inspires us to take up the practice, to embark on the threefold training in moral discipline, concentration, and wisdom. When the training matures, the eye of wisdom opens by itself, penetrating the truths and freeing the mind from bondage. And another way to say the same thing that I also liked was, this is Grace Shearson. Once returning to right view has become a regular activity on the cushion, just come back, it can actively be engaged in daily life to contemplate, what is it? What just happened? What's next? Just presence. With a neutral, open-minded view of the mind at work during meditation, compassion and curiosity develop naturally. Applying these qualities to our everyday upsets through contemplation practice activates and returns us to the clear-eyed position of right view. Contemplation paired with right view allows us to wisely choose our next step and to deepen our commitment to the Eightfold Path. Beings are numberless, I vow to save them. Delusions are inexhaustible, I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless, I vow to enter them. Buddha's way is unsurpassable, I vow to become it. Which is completely impossible. And it's just this. So I have a great question for you, but I completely forgot what it is. What's a good question? You can talk about any of this. What's the how do you move from dislike to reverence? I mean, they're right next to each other all the time. What do you know about that? Or any of this that feels important. So let's just go into little groups of 3 and just talk about this, okay? Because that's the pivot point, always. That's practice. And I'll put you guys in groups of 3 too.
Chris, I just wanted to say to you that